Live from Lagos, this is Channels Television. We're broadcasting from the nation's commercial nerve center. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Ozama. Our job is to track what's going on in the polity, and these are headlines. Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa to receive his certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja following his victory in Saturday's election. Boko Haram terrorists attacked Nigerian Army camp in Borno State, killing about 5 to 20 soldiers and destroyed vehicles, among others. And the PDP governorship candidate in the 2023 general election in Ogun State joins me on the program to provide insight into why he was invited by the Department of State Services following what played out at last Saturday's local government elections in the state. Governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Ondo State, Ajayi, heads to court, insisting there were alleged infractions perpetrated by key elements in the election. Welcome to the program. Our tracking of the polity begins with a disturbing attack on Nigerian military camp in Borno State by Boko Haram in northern Nigeria, resulting in the death of soldiers and material losses. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, confirmed the coordinated attack saw 5 soldiers killed in action, while troops eliminated several terrorists and recovered weapons. Meanwhile, the Borno State Governor, Babagana Zulum, in a statement, has commiserated with the military over the death of the soldiers and says the attack reminds the state of the callousness of the deadly Boko Haram terrorists. Now, the federal government is reinforcing security across all borders and land borders, specifically with the deployment of modern security equipment for effective data gathering and safer legitimate trade and travels. At a meeting with the immigration officers that will be maintaining this equipment in Abuja, the Minister of Interior highlighted the critical role of the Immigration Service in national security and advised the officers and men to live above the designation of Travel Document Issuance Agency, taking on its core mandate of border security.
The Minister of Interior, along with the Comptroller General of Immigration and other senior officers of the service, make their way into the Command and Control Center of the Nigeria Immigration Service. Equipped with ICT facilities, the center will be the coordinating hub for activities of border security officers who have been trained on handling of the new technology installed at various borders across the country. After the brief tour, it is time to address the border security officers. Here, the Comptroller General highlights the scope of training and expectations from the officers.
These officers before you today, they've gone through a lot of training, they've been educated, there's a lot of knowledge transfer, skill building to ensure that once they're on the field, they know what they're doing, they know how to use the system to better enhance our national security. I need to let you know that to whom a lot is given, a lot is expected. And I charge you, and I hope that you will take this as seriously as a responsibility that you ought to do.
These officers have been trained on e-border security solutions to enhance surveillance and effective data gathering. The Minister of Interior is hopeful that investment in equipment and training will improve security at the borders.
The border is very, very peculiar. Nigeria is both a Sahel state and a state in the Gulf of Guinea. That is a unique geographical, you have to understand that. And in the Sahel, you understand the situation of the Sahel. 5 of the top 10 poorest countries in the world are in the Sahel. Issue of climate change is an issue that also affects irregular migration within the Sahel. Please, at your border post, Technology will do its part, but technology will never replace man. Let's understand that. We need you to utilize this technology to the best.
Nigeria is bordered by Benin, Cameroon, Chad, and Niger, with a total land border mass of 4,047 kilometers, an expanse that no doubt requires a mix of dedicated officers and the deployment of modern security technology for effective coverage.
And away from that, all is now set for the governorship. Governor of Ondo State, Ladi Adebutu, to receive his certificate of return from the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Governor Aiyedatiwa recorded a historic victory in last Saturday's governorship election, winning all 18 local government areas, polling a total of over 366 votes to beat his closest rival of the PDP, Ajayi, who scored slightly over 100,000, recording a difference of over 200,000 votes. Some candidates of other parties had congratulated him on his victory as he promises to serve the people of Ondo for trusting him with the mandate. Well, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in that election, Ajayi, has rejected the result of the election declared by INEC on Sunday and vowed to seek justice at the tribunal. In a statement by his special advisor, Mr. Aiyedatiwa, he kept silence since the poll results were announced to enable him investigate content of what he considers alleged criminality perpetrated by both the victorious APC and INEC. He explains how they have uncovered actions undertaken to allegedly compromise electoral desires of the people, and maintains that democracy cannot thrive in an environment where unabated alleged criminality is perpetrated perpetually in the prosecution of an election by INEC. Mr. Ajayi says he rejects the results of the November 16 election and will take legal action to reverse the debauchery. Those were the word. Okay, so our conversation on the program, as you saw in the highlights, is we're talking about what played out in Ogun State in last Saturday, which has to do with the local government election. It's a local government election, but there was a lot of tension in the city or across the state. I remember that the governorship candidate of the PDP, Mr. Ladi Adebutu, had featured on our sister program, but later on we heard he was invited by the DSS, and later we heard he was released by the DSS, also now invited by the police, all kinds of stories about what played out. And so he's joining me right now to break it down for us, what has been the true picture of how things had played out in the last 24 hours for him, and we'll revisit what played out on Saturday. Mr. Ladi Adebutu is a governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in last year's election in Ogun State. Mr. Adebutu, thank you so much for coming on the program. Mr. Adebutu, if you can unmute, we cannot hear you. If you can unmute your device so we can hear you. Can you hear me, sir? All right. If you can hear me, okay, so basically, let's see how much we can. We'll get him just in a moment. So a couple of things happened. There was an election in, of course, Ogun State, local government election in the 20 local government areas. About 19 political parties participated in that election. I think it came to about over 600,000 votes that were cast, according to the State Electoral Commission. And it was a sweeping poll for the APC. They won all the governorship, all the chairmanship seats, I should say, in the 20 local government areas, as well as the 236 councillorship seats. No other party won. I know this has been the trend of state elections as far as state elections are concerned. But there are a couple of violence in places like Iperuremo, Ikene, where we heard that there were violence broke out because of a face-off between police and certain thugs and person individuals. I do not want to just go to the detail because I have the man at the center of it to bring us up to speed as to what played out. But what now later happened was the fact that there was exchange of words, brickbats, as to who is to blame for what. I understand Mr. Adebutu is ready for us. Mr. Adebutu, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so... please go ahead, sir.
Please go ahead. to the best of my knowledge, essentially this was the APC and the governor championing our democracy. We had no issues at all, except for the fact that the governor rode around town in a convoy with policemen and thugs. At a point, one of my aides was waylaid by thugs, and he was fired upon in the company of one of my policemen assigned to protect myself and my household. Unfortunately, the police was hit, and is presently the teaching hospital in Shagam. The policeman here returned fire in self-defense, and one of those thugs was hit as well. But the truth of the matter is that over time, this governor has had a tendency for violence. In the last general election, 99 polling booths were cancelled because this governor had encouraged and sponsored deliberate suppression of the votes by encouraging violence and the cancellation of 99 polling booths. My question to you, if it was Ladi Adebutu sponsoring the violence, would 99 polling booths that I would have won, would they be cancelled? Would I sponsor the stealing of those ballot boxes? Will I sponsor the maiming and wounding all PDP aides personnel throughout the state? Show me APC leaders that were named on Saturday. I will show you dozens of PDP leaders that were badly injured on that day. So who is the perpetrator of violence? I am not a cultist. History speaks for itself. Over 100 people lost their life in Shagam after the last elections. Why? Somebody had released guns into the society after the election. Those guns remained in society and continued to cause.
All right, Mr. Adebutu. I have a lot more questions, but these are very strong allegations. I don't know whether you can prove to the effect that the governor actually did sponsor. Those are strong allegations that he sponsored the violence and perhaps the killing and the snuffing of ballot boxes. He's not here, or his people are not here to respond. So I would like to stick to facts that are available. But you have a right to say what you have to say. But I'm just saying for balance, they also have a right to reply. But I want to find out from you, 24 hours ago has been quite an ordeal. We've heard all kinds of stories that you were arrested by the DSS, then now re-invited or by the police. So maybe you break it down for what really happened. Were you invited? Were you arrested? What were you arrested for? Were you invited by the police? And what was it all about? Or it was untrue? Just give us a context.
First, I must give kudos to our institutions. Gradually, they are improving. I got a call from one, I think, Funaya. I understand he's the head of the DSS. And he spoke to me nicely, very professionally, and he invited me to come over and explain one or two things about some allegations that have been made. Initially, my response was, maybe why not just simply send me an invitation letter? And he said, well, it's just an informal thing, because in essence, there has been no serious petition, but he was just being proactive and being as cordial as possible. Seeing the goodwill that was extended, I willingly and willfully went in Monday afternoon, as I went in willingly, and I had a chat with the man, and he asked me, would I care to state these things and write them down at least for the record? And I did so. After I did this, I noticed there was a lot of pressure, a lot of phone calls were coming in. Needless to say, I don't know what was transpiring, but The gentleman, he kept on addressing me and kept me in his company for the whole evening. Then at some stage he said it was not the policy of the department that people should leave at night because they don't want to get a bad name, that somebody left their services and disappeared. That could I wait till the morning with him? Graciously, could I wait till the morning with him? And then we could live together. So I waited, and at 7 o'clock, we all left the premises together. End of story. And I'm sure if I had committed any crime, I would be properly charged for committing any crime. I did not commit any crime. But the powers that be wanted to exact some kind of pressure to suppress the voice of opposition. But that has failed, because this afternoon I shall have another press conference enumerating their excesses by 1 o'clock.
Okay. So you were not invited by the police. That's what you're saying. Because we had another story, you were invited by the...
I think the following day, yesterday, the Commissioner of Police, Ajayi, extended an invitation to me. Could I please maybe assist with an investigation they are currently having? I said, well, am I involved in any situation you want to know about? And the gentleman said, no, but there are some suspects and there are some matters that I can help them throw light on. I said, well, nothing of the police. If you want me to throw light on any issues, I will make myself available. So I went in yesterday afternoon, about 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, thereabouts, and I had a long chat with him. I spent the evening with him about 7 o'clock or thereabouts, after I had helped him as much as I could, because anything other than guesswork, guess evidence, because I was not at any scene of any of these actions, which does the guess evidence. I was in my house on Saturday.
All right.
On Saturday, I did not vote. I did not leave my house. So I just did the best I could. And yesterday evening, I was back in my house. So I thank the police. I know, could I just finish? I thank the police. I thank the DSS. These institutions are getting better, because I know there must have been under tremendous pressure to do a lot of harm to the voice of opposition.
All right, I know that you had said elections there are about over 5,000 polling units, but you had claimed that elections not hold in about 4,000 polling units, and you were confident that if elections held, your party, the PDP, would have won. In fact, the numbers that were released officially from the State Electoral Commission says about over 600,000 votes came in. APC won all the seats in terms of local government chairman and councillorship. No, but those are the records available. So if you feel so strongly about the elections not holding, by your claim, are you going to approach the court to seek redress? I mean, your party now.
Can you please answer this question yourself? Can you contest an election that was not held? There are no results. There are no results anywhere. So how do you challenge a non-event? No results were issued anywhere. Even in places, I think about 2 or 3 places throughout the state, where they actually declared the councillorship positions for PDP, they did not release results. So this is a sham, but we expected that they would not truly have an election. But what peeved us was that somebody had the effrontery to say there was no opposition in the state. A state that truly we won. But the powers that be, in Nigeria that we live in, decided to do otherwise. It's okay. We will get there someday. Our institutions will improve with time.
Yeah, because, because maybe...
Okay. However, when you have taken a mandate that is not genuine yours, and you are mismanaging it, you are emasculating the third tier of government to the extent that our local governments for the last 5 years are dead. And we're questioning that, and you're telling us that the opposition does not match. We would have just left you to go and write the results and copy the rest of the chief executives as it happens throughout the whole nation. We could have left you to do that. But we had the function to rub salt on injury, insult us that opposition does not exist. When you know that you are the opposition because you are the minority.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I know that the governorship election was keenly contested. I think it was just a difference of about 13,000. But the results here shows that... no, I mean, at least official results. I'm talking about official results now, as far as the numbers are concerned. So that's why I'm happy you raised the issue of whether there's an opposition or not, because one would have expected that since it was keenly contested, would have seen maybe a different entity in the variables that we see in terms of outcome. So besides whatever it is that you have raised as what was done, do you think there's anything the PDP did or did not do that could have been responsible for this?
No. We did what was necessary to be done. We desired to drag out the APC. We desired that the nation should see them for what they are. We desired to show the whole world that whatever goodwill the APC or President Tinubu has in Yoruba land is being wasted and dissipated by the criminality of the leaders of APC in Ondo State. We had to show the world that, and we showed the whole world because they were so unpopular. They dared not bring out ballot boxes in over 4,000 places. They dared not. They would have been charged mercilessly. They dared not. Yes. Okay.
All right, so we're going to wind down. I know there is this gulf between you and Dapo Abiodun, the governor. Is there ever going to be a time when you will reconcile or have to sit on the same table to have a conversation on the way forward for Ogun State? At least before the next election, and maybe I may have to ask again, are you contesting? That may be a yes, I don't know, but you are here to answer.
I have no issue with Dapo Abiodun, but the issue I have is bad governance. He should treat us well, he should stop stealing our money. That's my opinion. Do well, do good governance. 5 years, what have you done with local government money? In 5 years, what have you done? You have borrowed more money than all the other governors of Ogun State put together. Take a copy of our budget. Look at what this man has done. You'll be sad for Ogun State. Let us leave it at that for now.
Okay, clearly, we understand it.
Remember with time, when the immunity goes, is running out, another 2.5 years or thereabouts left, you will see people that will start to run helter-skelter and start to disguise as well.
All right, Mr. Adebutu, the last question. Are you contesting again?
If you will sponsor me, why not?
I am not a politician. I do not want to be a politician. But I must thank you, Ladi Adebutu, the governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 general elections. Thank you, sir, for coming on the program.
Thank you. God bless. Thank you.
All right, before we wind down the program, let's tell you what we've been tracking in the National Assembly. We can tell you that a bill to amend the Constitution and provide for diaspora voting has killed second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill is sponsored by the Speaker and has been referred to the Constitution Amendment Committee for further legislative action. So yet again, a bill to enable our brothers and sisters that are not in country, that are in diaspora, to vote has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill is sponsored by the Speaker. Now it's been referred to the Constitution Amendment Committee for further legislative action. This will be interesting if it happens, because it happens in other clients. But just yet again, a group in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, has called for an end to the hostilities between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and FCT Minister Nyesom Wika. The group, under the aegis of Simplified Academics and made up of top academics from 5 higher institutions in the state, made a call at the Rivers State University in Port Harcourt while giving vote of confidence on Governor Fubara. The leader, Professor Akuro Gobo, also called on the university's alumni to settle the differences of both politicians, as both are alumni of the institution.
So, we won't waste time. We commend His Excellency for the good works he's doing in the state. Amongst these are early payment of salaries of workers and pensioners in the state between 25th and 27th of every month. Recent announcement of 85,000 naira minimum wage for the state. Governor Siminalayi Fubara, we are proud of you. We are grateful to you. We are grateful to God for giving you to us at this demanding time to liberate Rivers State. We call on the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, our son, our brother, Chief Barrister Ezenwo Wike, GSS ROS, who was once our student and now minister, to bring development from his ministerial position to Rivers State. We are calling on the alumni of Rivers State University, Port Harcourt, to call our 2 brothers, our 2 sons, to come together. Because Chief Barrister Ezenwo Wike has done much, even in this university. He should also support the next person to do more than what he did in this university.
Quite an impressive rhetoric, if you ask me. These 2 gentlemen just have to look for a way to find peace for the state to move forward. Talking about Nyesom Wike, the former governor, and the incumbent governor, Siminalayi Fubara. Thank you so much for your time, and of course, your usual company for staying with us on the program. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.